This video brought to you by the upcoming CARDAMAJIGS Kickstarter for CUBEAMAJIGS Series 2. CUBEAMAJIGS are reusable booster packs for Magic, Cube, and other TCGs. These new Series 2s feature over 30 pieces of art made by MTG artists, new production methods to prevent pack bulging, and they come pre-made in a 10-pack kit, good for storage. Click the link in the description below to be taken to the Kickstarter, where you can make your pledge today.
If you're streaming or playing paper Magic online, good lighting is one of the most important parts of your desk setup. There are a ton of options out there, and what's good for one person might not be good for another. Today, I'm going to go over a whole bunch of recommendations at different price points, as well as share some of the knowledge that I've gained streaming and recording paper Magic over the past 3 years. This is going to be one of the best ways to show off all your cards in all their glory, so let's get right into it. When we started recording content, we learned really quickly that overhead lighting can be an absolute killer. Each card is basically a mirror, and if your camera and lighting are both directly overhead, you get glare spots that will turn your cards into bright white squares. Here's what that looks like. This is a pot light over my table at a height of about 4.5 feet above the table surface. In certain areas of my mat, you can see my cards perfectly fine. But the second I move them into this area here, the overhead light reflects off the surface of my card sleeve and back up directly into the camera lens. When we first started filming, we assumed the light was too bright, so we used a dimmer switch to lower the intensity. Things improved a bit, but there was still glare. That's because lighting intensity isn't the primary reason why you get glare when you're recording. It has much more to do with the angle of the light and the amount of diffusion. So before we go any further, I want to talk about what these two terms mean. The angle of the light is pretty self-explanatory. If my table surface is 0 degrees, my camera is at 90 degrees directly above my mat. And the light is a little less than 90 degrees off to the side, but it's pointing directly downwards. Light travels in a straight line and bounces off a flat surface at the same angle it hit that surface. So we need to be aware of the angle that our light is pointing at. You can think of diffusion like a semi-transparent lampshade. It might hurt your eyes to look directly at a bare light bulb, but if you put a lampshade on it, rather than getting a really harsh single point of light, the shade spreads the light out over a greater surface and softens it, making it much more pleasant to look at. When we're playing Magic, we always want to use diffused light rather than directional or spot lighting to ensure that our mat is lit evenly. Now let's use these two concepts to get some really killer lighting. First, I'm going to use this lamp that I grabbed off my bedroom table. I think it was $5 at a thrift store. I'm going to turn off my overhead light and put this lamp directly in front of my playmat. Here's what it looked like before, and here's what it looked like after. One thing you'll notice right away is that the cards at the front of the playmat are much brighter than the cards closest to me. So let's work in some diffusion and see how that helps. I tossed on a lampshade and we can compare the two. It's still brighter at the front of the mat, but the shade has helped a little bit. If you're playing Magic with your friends, this is absolutely a good enough situation. It's much better than the overhead pot light. But if you've got time and another $5, you can absolutely level it up. Let's add another lamp to the mix and put them on either side of the playmat with shades. Now this is really starting to come together. Things are getting a little bright and overexposed, so I moved the lamps back a little. You can also use lower wattage bulbs if you can find them, or if you've got lamps that have an adjustable intensity, that might be a good option as well. If you want to buy something brand new instead of hitting the thrift store, I'd recommend the Grono or Tokubo lamps from IKEA. Remember that you want something that has a shade between the light bulb and your playmat, and not something where the bare bulb is pointed directly at your cards, like a Pixar-style lamp. If you don't have an IKEA nearby, these are some great LED panels that I bought on Amazon for about $45. They've got a built-in diffuser, a mini tripod so that you can stand it on your desk, and the intensity is adjustable. I mounted these and my camera on a rail above my desk, and I'm really happy with the result. I've also seen a ton of different types of lamps used to light people's mats. My partner bought these grow lights for some herbs on a shelf in our living room, and they would work great too. You can use 2 of the arms on your mat and 2 of them on the rest of your desk, or pointed away from you at the wall to provide more general lighting for your desk area. If you're still getting glare after changing the angle and diffusion of your lighting, there could be a number of things going on. The first thing is that white ceilings tend to reflect a lot of light. Try taking a large piece of cardboard and holding it directly above your camera. If that eliminates your glare, you're probably getting a lot of light from your ceiling. You can attach the cardboard to your camera stand to block it and act as a shade, or even tape something dark like a piece of cardboard directly to your ceiling. The other possibility is light coming in from nearby windows. This can be both a blessing and a curse. Sometimes the angle of the light won't be problematic and you'll get great even lighting from the sun. But if you're looking to really tightly control the quality of your lighting, you want to record in an interior room with the windows tightly shuttered. Blackout blinds or curtains are your best friend here, and that's why we record in a basement. This ensures that even if your game takes hours and hours to play, your lighting will stay consistent throughout your entire session. The main takeaways here are that lights can be pretty cheap. You just have to get the right type of light for Magic streaming. If you've got good, even lighting, it'll give even a cheap camera a better image. So before you drop big money on other equipment, lights should be the first thing you think about. But what if you're recording more than one playmat? I obviously can't put a lamp on my neighbor's playmat if I'm looking to record a 4-player game of Commander, so what do? That's a great question, and we've tried a few different solutions here at the Spike Feeders. We started out by purchasing a pair of softboxes off of Amazon. We got a pair of these for $70 a couple years ago and used them for about a year, and they're great. It's essentially just a big lamp on a tripod, and it comes with this fabric cowl that goes around the lamp to diffuse the light. We set these up a couple feet away from the edge of the table on a diagonal pointing straight across, and the lighting quality was pretty good. One thing we learned really quickly is that it can be extremely difficult to light a person's face well while also eliminating glare on cards. But that's probably something you'll have to figure out through trial and error if you want to make gameplay that looks like ours. Eventually, due to space limitations in the smaller studio that we use to record in, we upgraded to these. These are essentially the same as the smaller desktop versions that I showed you earlier in the video, they're just bigger and brighter. They have a dimmer knob on the back that controls both the intensity of the light and the color, which can be really nice to have. Initially, we put these on the same tripods that we used for the soft boxes, but eventually I took a couple hours and mounted them in my basement ceiling in the new studio using these mounting brackets. The positioning of these lights is really awesome, and we're able to achieve even, diffused lighting on all 4 playmats with no glare whatsoever, while also having pretty great lighting on our faces, as you'll be able to tell in our gameplay video coming out on August 5th. But if you're just looking to play some Magic, I'd recommend using more lights at a dimmer setting to achieve a better result. That's really all there is to it. When you're thinking about lighting, always be aware of the angle and the diffusion of the light sources you're using. Wherever possible, use a shallow angle to light your playmat and avoid overhead lighting at all costs. If you found a really good solution to lighting your playmat for webcam games, let me know in the comments below. Anyone who's come across this video looking for ideas will really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to talk about audio. I'll catch you next time. Hey, thank you for checking out the Spike Feeders on YouTube. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you close the window, or you can click on this link to check out our other great videos.